What's up, fellow adventurers and denizens of the tabletop realm? Today we're venturing deep into the Infernal Archives to unearth a true gem, or perhaps a cursed artifact of custom D&D 5th edition content, the Illrigger class by MCDM. If you've ever pondered, Paladins are cool, but what if they had a darker, more devilish twist? Then oh boy, is this video for you. Pause the video, get up, get yourself a cup of coffee or tea, and feel free to skip around in the video using the timestamps below to find the part that you are most interested in. A big shout out to my Patreon community, whose member support allowed me to purchase the Illrigger class to review. I recently lost my full-time job, so YouTube, this is it. This is what I do now. I'm a full-time D&D content creator, or that's the goal. Help me grow and smash that subscribe button before I send my new Hellish warriors on you. So I won't keep you waiting. In this video, we are going to take a plunge through every facet of this class. We're going to compare features to existing D&D classes, highlighting its strengths and weaknesses. And we're going to critically analyze its mechanics, including some things like average damage per round, and we'll also explore how it fits within the party as a whole, both in combat and role-playing scenarios. By the end, you'll have a comprehensive understanding whether the Illrigger is the right path for your next character, or perhaps the perfect adversary to throw into your campaigns. So first and foremost, let's define the Illrigger. It is a knight that has forged a pact not with celestial beings or noble ideals, but with the archdevils of the 7 cities of hell. These are no mere warriors. They are elite operatives. In fact, they're kind of what Warlocks wish they could be if they actually bothered to read the fine print. They're clandestine enforcers of infernal will, and they serve the Order of Desolation, an organization founded by archdevils to further their dark agendas across the multiverse. This unique order unites Illriggers under a common cause, the advancement of Hell's interests above all else. Archdevil patrons are expected to cooperate, albeit sometimes reluctantly, and to be resourceful, intelligent, and independent. This autonomy makes them both invaluable and potentially treacherous. When constructing an Illrigger, your primary ability score should favor strength, if you like melee combat, or dexterity if you prefer finesse or ranged weapons. Charisma is also crucial. Yes, I know. Another charisma class. Charisma fuels many of your class features and the Interdict ability, more on that later. This combination mirrors that of Paladins or Hexblade Warlocks, blending martial prowess with force of personality. Illriggers utilize a D10 hit die, aligning them with fighters and paladins in terms of durability. They're proficient with light and medium armor, as well as shields, allowing them to achieve a respectable armor class. Their weapon proficiencies include all simple and martial weapons, ensuring a wide array of combat options. Skill-wise, they can choose from an eclectic list that includes deception, intimidation, stealth, and persuasion, enabling them to excel in both social manipulation and subterfuge. This class also has something separate to, but very similar to a spell save, called the Interdict save. Whenever this is mentioned, the saving throw DC for these effects use your Interdict save DC, which is calculated as 8 plus your proficiency bonus plus your charisma modifier. So, core features. Yes, that's why you're here. It's as good as any place to start, comparing them to other classes and critically evaluating their mechanics. The Baleful Interdict. It's the Illrigger's signature ability. You place magical seals on a creature within 30 feet as a bonus action, or when you hit them with a weapon attack once per turn. These seals last 1 minute or until you decide to burn them, dealing fire or necrotic damage per seal. The damage scales with your level. At 1 through 4, it's 1d6 per seal. Levels 5 through 10, 2d6 per seal. 11 through 9, 3d6 per seal, and at level 20, 4d6 per seal. This ability is comparable to a Paladin's Divine Smite, which adds extra damage to attacks by consuming spell slots, and it deals radiant damage, which is less commonly resisted. The Warlock's Hexblade Curse is another similar feature, allowing you to mark a target to gain bonus damage, critical hits on a 19 or 20, and heal when the target dies. The strengths of the Baleful Interdict include scalable damage that increase with your level, ensuring its relevance throughout your career as an Illrigger. Seals replenish on short rests, allowing frequent use. The tactical flexibility of choosing when to burn the seals lets you set up burst damage at critical moments. However, there are weaknesses here to consider. You must place seals before burning them, which can potentially delay your damage output. Fire and necrotic damage are frequently resisted by monsters like fiends and undead, which can reduce its effectiveness. Additionally, using your bonus action to place seals may compete with other class features or spells, especially if you multi-class, affecting your action economy. So let's consider average damage calculations to illustrate this point. Imagine a 5th level Illrigger with a strength of 18, which is a +4 modifier, wielding a longsword, which is 1d8 damage. Comparing their average damage per round to a 5th level fighter and paladin, the Illrigger makes 2 attacks at +7 to hit, which is proficiency +3 and strength +4. The average weapon damage per hit is 1d8, which is 4.5, +4, totaling 8.5, with a 65% chance to hit against an AC of 15, rolling an 8 or higher on a d20. The expected weapon damage per round is approximately 11.05, assuming you have placed seals in previous rounds. Burning 2 seals adds an extra 14 damage, 2 seals times 2d6 per seal, with 7 average per seal. The total damage per round with seals is approximately 25.05, your mileage may vary. A paladin of the same level, using a 1st level spell slot for Divine Smite, has the same attack stats. The Divine Smite adds 2d8 radiant damage, an average of 9, on top of the weapon damage, bringing the total damage per round with the smite to about 20.05. A fighter, champion with improved critical, has the same attack stats but no extra damage features unless critting, so their expected damage per round remains at 11.05. Analyzing these numbers, the Illrigger, when able to burn seals, outpaces both the Paladin and Fighter in damage output. However, the Paladin can potentially use higher level spell slots for greater smite damage. The Illrigger's damage is more consistent due to seal recharge on a short rest, while Paladins have limited spell slots. Please, math, not my strong suit. Remind me if I did anything wrong in the comments below. The Illrigger shines in burst damage potential and resource efficiency, but the reliance on seals and the need to set them up can be a hindrance in fast-paced combat, especially for new players. Additionally, the damage types being commonly resisted may reduce effectiveness against certain foes, so your mileage may vary, but there are ways to get around this later on. Moving on, the Forked Tongue feature grants you the ability to speak, read, and write Infernal, plus 2 other languages you can speak but not read or write. At 9th level, you gain an additional language and advantage on insight checks to discern intentions. Forked Tongue offers versatility in communication and social advantage through enhanced insight checks. However, the limited literacy and delay benefits might reduce its impact in campaigns that are more combat-focused. Moving on to Combat Mastery. The Illrigger's Combat Mastery feature is a 2nd level offering that gives you a diverse array of options that significantly enhance the versatility and combat effectiveness. By allowing players to choose from 6 distinct combat styles, the Illrigger can tailor their abilities to match whatever preferred playstyle floats your boat. Whether it be melee, ranged, defensive, or mobile tactics, one of the standout options is Bravado, which provides an unarmed defense mechanism similar to the monk or barbarian class, but substitutes charisma for wisdom or constitution. This is particularly advantageous for an Illrigger, a class likely to prioritize charisma, enabling a high armor class without the need for heavy armor, while still allowing the use of a shield. This combination can result in a surprisingly durable character that excels both offensively and defensively. The Lies option is another potent choice, allowing the Illrigger to use charisma for attacks and damage rolls within their chosen melee weapon type. This mirrors the Hexblade Warlock's ability and effectively streamlines the character's ability score, letting them focus on charisma to fuel both their spellcasting and martial capabilities. This synergy enhances the class's effectiveness and simplifies character development. Unfettered expands the range of the Illrigger's class features, such as the Baleful Interdict, effectively increasing their influence on the battlefield. Additionally, it negates the disadvantage on ranged attacks when enemies are nearby, making it an excellent choice for those who prefer a ranged combat approach without sacrificing close quarters effectiveness. While options like Brutal, Inexorable, and Lissom might seem situational, they offer strategic advantages. Brutal provides battlefield control by moving enemies, which can be crucial for positioning and creating opportunities for allies. Inexorable enhances survivability when surrounded, and Lissom allows for a hit-and-run style of tactic, increasing mobility and reducing the risk of retaliation. Compared to other classes' second-level abilities, the Illrigger's combat mastery stands out for its customization and impact on gameplay. Classes like the Fighter gain Action Surge, offering a powerful but singular benefit. In contrast, the Illrigger's option can be tailored to the player's strategy, providing ongoing benefits that scale with character development. This feature enhances the Illrigger's adaptability in various combat scenarios, making it a robust addition to the class's toolkit. Overall, the Combat Mastery feature is a compelling and versatile addition to the Illrigger class. It allows players to customize their character to a degree that is both mechanically significant and thematically appropriate, ensuring that the class remains both competitive and engaging alongside other D&D classes at the same level. Next up, Interdiction and Interdict boons, which provide further depth to this class, allowing you to enhance your seals with some special effects. While this system adds flexibility and scaling power, it also, of course, increases complexity, making resource management and strategic planning essential. It should be noted that you can swap these out every time you gain a level in your Illrigger class. This might also be a good place to mention that there are two ways to use a seal. When you place a seal on a creature through an attack or bonus action, you then burn it to cause damage or another effect. But there are some features of the Illrigger in which it says you expend a seal. In this case, you reduce a seal you have but haven't yet placed on a creature. At second level, the Illrigger gains access to Interdict boons. First of the Interdict boons that I want to cover is the Abating seal. This boon allows you to reduce damage taken by yourself or an ally within 30 feet by 1d10 plus half your Illrigger level, using your reaction and expending a seal. It is a solid defense option that can prevent a critical hit from knocking out a party member. The scaling damage reduction ensures it remains relevant as you level up. However, it consumes both a seal and your reaction, limiting your ability to use other reaction-based abilities later on. Its effectiveness is also capped by the number of seals you have overall. The Abating seal enhances team survivability, especially in dire situations. Next up, the Bedevil. When you burn a seal on an interdicted creature, this boon forces your target to subtract your proficiency bonus from their next saving throw before the end of their next turn. It doesn't require any additional action, making it efficient in terms of action economy. This debuff can be pivotal when coordinating with spellcasters in your party, increasing the likelihood of their spells affecting the target. The drawback is its reliance on the target making a saving throw soon after activation, and it only affects one saving throw. Bedevil shines in coordinating parties, but may feel underwhelming if not timed properly. Soul Eater. This boon grants you temporary hit points equal to your Illrigger level when you burn a seal. It is an excellent way to enhance your durability, especially as a frontline combatant. The temporary hit points scale with your level, providing a consistent buff against damage. However, since temporary hit points don't stack, you need to manage when you gain them to maximize their benefit. Soul Eater is great for self-sustainability, making you a little bit harder to take down during prolonged fights. Next up is Styx's Apathy. By using your reaction when you burn a seal, you can prevent interdicted creatures from taking reactions until the end of their next turn. This is particularly useful for controlling the battlefield, allowing you and your allies to move freely without provoking opportunity attacks. It can also disrupt enemies that rely on reactions for defense or offense. The cost is of course consuming both a seal and your reaction, which might limit your options in a turn. Styx's Apathy is effective for strategic repositioning and mitigating enemy tactics. At 7th level, you gain access to even more powerful boons, number 1 being Acheron's Chair. When you place or move a seal on a large or smaller creature, you can force them to make a strength saving throw. On a failure, you can either pull them 10 feet towards you or grapple them until the end of your next turn. This boon offers significant battlefield control, allowing you to disrupt enemy positioning or prevent them from moving. The versatility to choose between pulling or grappling adds strategic depth. However, its effectiveness can be diminished against creatures with high strength saves, and it doesn't affect creatures larger than large size. Acheron's Chair is excellent for isolating key targets or protecting allies by controlling threats. Conflagrant Channel is next up. By expending a seal as a bonus action, you can teleport up to 60 feet to an unoccupied space you can see. This provides exceptional mobility, enabling you to close distances quickly, escaping dangerous situations or reach advantageous positions. The boon requires a seal and your bonus action, obviously, which might compete with other abilities. Line of sight is necessary for teleportation, limiting its use in certain environments. But Conflagrant's Channel is highly valuable for both offensive engagements and tactical retreats. Next up on our list, Eyes of the Gate. This boon lets you bind your awareness to a creature within 60 feet by expending seals. It lasts for an hour, and you can perceive through their senses and even place or burn seals as if you were in their space. This can be incredibly useful for recon or monitoring enemies. The risk is, though, that if you interact through them, they become aware of the bond, and while perceived through their senses, you're deaf and blind to your own surroundings. Next up, Shadow Shroud. By expending a seal as a bonus action, you can grant yourself or a touched ally a +2 bonus to AC for 1 minute. This boon offers a substantial defensive boost over multiple rounds, which can be crucial in tough encounters. It requires being in touch range and uses your bonus action and a seal, which might limit other actions, a reoccurring theme. Shadow Shroud is a valuable tool for enhancing survivability, whether for yourself or to protect key party members. And Unleash Hell. When you burn seals on an interdicted creature, you can use your reaction to cause an explosion that damages creatures of your choice within 5 feet of the target. This effectively turns single target seal burning into AoE damage. It increases your offensive reach. It doesn't require additional seals, but does consume your reaction. The boon is most effective when enemies are clustered together. Unleash Hell adds versatility to your combat abilities, particularly useful against groups of foes. Next up, Vengeful Shot. This boon allows you to expend a seal as a reaction to make a ranged attack against a creature that makes a ranged attacks against you or an ally within 30 feet. You do extra damage equal to half your Illrigger level. It's a form of immediate retaliation, potentially deterring enemies from targeting you or your allies once they know you do it. However, it requires you to have a ranged weapon ready and uses both a seal and your reaction. Vengeful Shot is pretty situational, but it can be impactful for Illriggers who are equipped for ranged combat. When you reach 13th level, you gain access to the following Interdict boons. First up, Dis's Onslaught, which is a passive. With this boon, when you use a bonus action to place or move a seal, you can make one weapon attack as part of the same bonus action. This significantly enhances your action economy, effectively granting you extra attacks without using your main action. It's always active and doesn't require additional resources beyond seals. The only limitation is potential conflicts with other bonus action abilities. Dis's Onslaught greatly boosts your offensive capabilities, making it a powerful choice for maximizing damage output. Flash of Brimstone is next up. When you place or move a seal, you can teleport to an unoccupied space within 5 feet of the target without using an action. This boon enhances your mobility and allows for surprise engagements or quick escapes. The teleportation is limited to adjacent spaces and triggers only when interacting with seals. Flash of Brimstone is particularly effective for melee Illriggers who need to close gaps or reposition swiftly during combat. And then we have Hellish Frenzy. At the start of your turn, you can expend a seal to become frenzied until the start of your next turn. While frenzied, your movement speed doubles, and you gain a +2 bonus to AC. And you can make an extra weapon attack when you take the attack action. This boon provides a comprehensive boost to speed, defense, and offense, making it excellent for overwhelming enemies or executing critical maneuvers. This short duration and seal cost are the main drawbacks. Hellish Frenzy is ideal for moments when you need a significant and temporary advantage. Hellsight is next up, and by expending a seal as an action, you gain True Sight out to 60 feet for 1 hour. This can be invaluable when dealing with invisible foes, illusions, or shape changers. It allows you to perceive threats that others might miss. Activating it, again, consumes an action and a seal. It may not always be useful in straightforward combats, but Hellsight is a strategic boon that can be game-changing in the right circumstances, particularly in campaigns with deceptive or stealthy adversaries. Next up, this one's pretty cool, Impaling Shot. When you hit an interdicted creature with a ranged weapon attack, you can expend a seal as a bonus action to reduce their AC by your proficiency bonus until the end of your next turn. This makes targets easier to hit for both you and your allies, enhancing the entire party's offensive efforts. It requires you to be proficient with ranged weapons and use your bonus action in a seal. Impaling Shot is especially effective against high AC enemies and benefits parties that can capitalize on lowered defenses. Iron Gaol is an action that you can touch a creature and expend 4 seals to attempt to send them to hell. This one might be one of my favorites. On a failed charisma saving throw, the target is imprisoned, potentially removing a significant threat from the battlefield. The high seal cost and the need for a touch range make it a pretty risky thing to pull off, but its success hinges on the target's saving throw. Iron Gaol is a powerful but situational boon, best reserved for critical moments against formidable opponents, where eliminating them can change the course of the encounter. Last word. When you are reduced to 0 hit points and have unplaced seals, you can expend up to 3 of them and release an explosion around you, dealing fire damage to nearby enemies and possibly regaining hit points if you damage at least 1 creature. This boon kind of serves as a last resort, potentially turning a lethal situation into a comeback. It only activates when you drop to 0 hit points, and it consumes seals, which might have been used earlier, so it might not work. But Last Word is a strong defensive measure that can catch enemies off guard and keep you in the fight. Soul's Doom is next up on our list. When you place or move a seal, you can scorch it into the target's soul, causing them to take extra damage equal to your proficiency bonus whenever they take damage for up to 1 minute. This boon significantly amplifies damage over time, benefiting the entire party's attacks against the target. It excels against bosses or high health enemies, maximizing your group's damage output. The only limitations are that it affects 1 creature at a time, and it requires seal placement. Again, Soul's Doom is exceptionally potent for taking down tough opponents efficiently. So, what are my overall assessments here? The Illrigger's Interdict boon provides a versatile toolkit that enhances combat effectiveness and strategic depth. The choice of boons depends largely on your playstyle and the needs of your party. For those seeking to maximize damage, Soul's Doom and Dis's Onslaught are top choices. If you prefer mobility and tactical positioning, Conflagrant Channel and Flash of Brimstone are also excellent options. Defensive players might favor Shadow Shroud and Abating Seal for increased survivability. Situational boons like Eye of the Gate and Hellsight can be game-changing in specific scenarios, such as infiltration missions or battles against elusive enemies, but I suspect that a lot of people won't take them because they're so situational. Iron Gaol and Last Word offer high-risk, high-reward options that can dramatically alter the course of an encounter when used wisely. When selecting boons, consider how they align with your role. Whether you focus on melee combat, ranged attacks, support, or control, and how they complement your party's dynamics. The ability to swap out the boons as you level up allows you to adapt to new challenges and evolving campaign thematics. And let me just say, I guess they don't call them boons for just any reason. And don't get me wrong, they are really cool. I just don't see many DMs looking at this and going, I'll allow it. But to be honest, I am going to allow it. This class and these boons make it so that I can just toss harder encounters at my players and see if they'll survive, if you know what I mean. All right, that was a lot, but I do want to take a look at another 3rd level ability. When you reach 3rd level, you take your Diabolic Contract. Less of an ability and more picking your subclass. I do want to give each of them an in-depth look, but I want to finish the rest of the main class features first, so skip ahead using the timestamps if you're most interested in the subclass breakdowns. Also linked to your level 3 pick is a feature called Invoke Hell. This unlocks 2 special features unique to each subclass. Basically, you invoke your Devil Lord's power for special effects. You get to use an action to choose which of the Invoke Hell features your subclass has that you would like to use. We will of course go more in depth with them in the unique Invoke Hell abilities in the subclass's deep dive. The Illrigger does get standard feat selection available at level 4, 8, 12, 16, and 19, and it also gets an extra attack at level 5. Not really much to say here other than cool. The Infernal Conduit feature acquired at 6th level is a pivotal ability for the Illrigger class, encapsulating its unique blend of support and damage dealing capabilities infused with dark necrotic magic. This feature grants Illriggers a pool of Infernal Conduit dice, another resource to manage, their D10s, that grow as they advance in levels, providing a scalable resource that enhances both their own and their allies' effectiveness in combat. By allowing the Illrigger to either invigorate allies or devour enemies, this ability offers significant versatility, enabling players to adapt their strategies based on the immediate needs of the battle. If you're in my Discord and you ask what are some of the overpowered features of this class that are balanced out by the resource management, this is one of those sections, so pay close attention. One of the standout aspects of Infernal Conduit is its dual functionality. The Invigorate option allows Illriggers to heal allies by expending their own life force, introducing kind of a strategic trade-off between supporting teammates and maintaining personal survivability. This mechanic not only reinforces the thematic connection to Infernal Bargains, but it also promises tactical decision-making, as a player must weigh the benefits of healing against the risk of taking necrotic damage themselves. On the other hand, the Devour option empowers Illriggers to siphon life from their enemies, converting damage dealt into personal healing. This offensive capability not only sustains the Illrigger in prolonged engagements, but also synergizes well with other damage-dealing abilities. It enhances overall combat effectiveness. However, Infernal Conduit is not without its drawbacks. The necessity to manage a limited pool of Infernal Conduit dice introduces a layer of resource management that can both be engaging and potentially cumbersome. Players must judiciously decide when to expend their dice for healing or damage, as running out of resources at a critical moment could diminish their effectiveness and maybe lead to a TPK. I don't know. It should also be mentioned that Infernal Conduit's features are worded in such a way where the necrotic damage taken can straight up ignore even necrotic damage immunity. This is huge, and I'm not sure I know of any other ability in D&D that can ignore damage immunity. I'm not sure I like it, but let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Is this too OP? And are there other features across D&D that give kind of the same similar effect? When compared to other 6th level class abilities in D&D, Infernal Conduit holds its own by offering a unique blend of support and damage capabilities that are not typically found in other classes. For instance, Paladins at 6th level gain Aura of Protection. It provides a straightforward bonus to saving throws for themselves and nearby allies, focusing purely on defensive support. In contrast, the Illrigger's Infernal Conduit provides both offense and defense utilities, allowing for a more dynamic role within the party. Similarly, Sorcerers gain Elemental Affinity, enhancing their spellcasting with elemental damage bonuses, but it lacks the direct support mechanics that Infernal Conduit offers. This positions Illriggers as a hybrid class capable of fulfilling multiple roles, making Infernal Conduit a standout feature that enhances the class's versatility and strategic depth. Next up in the gifts that Papa Devil gave us is the Blood Price. At 10th level, it introduces an intriguing mechanic that allows Illriggers to bolster their defenses by expending their own vitality. Whenever the Illrigger fails a saving throw, they can spend one of their hit dice, roll it, and add the result to the saving throw, potentially turning a failure into a success. This feature is particularly potent because it provides a second chance to resist a debilitating effect that could otherwise incapacitate the character or turn the tide of battle against them. The use of hit dice, a resource typically reserved for healing during short rests, adds a cost that requires careful consideration. The Illrigger must balance the immediate benefit of succeeding on a critical saving throw against the long-term resource management of their hit dice. Compared to other classes' abilities at 10th level, such as the Fighter's Indomitable, which allows re-rolling a failed saving throw once per long rest, Blood Price offers more flexibility and frequent use at a cost of hit dice, making it a powerful and thematically appropriate feature. At 11th level, the Illrigger gains Terrorizing Force, which enhances their weapon attacks with an extra 1d8 damage of a chosen type: cold, fire, necrotic, or poison. This not only boosts their damage, but it also provides adaptability against enemies with specific vulnerabilities or resistances. The ability to change damage type after a long rest allows the Illrigger to tailor their approach based on anticipated encounters. This feature is somewhat similar to the Paladin's improved Divine Smite, which adds radiant damage to attacks, but Terrorizing Force offers more versatility in damage types. This flexibility can be crucial in high-level play where monsters often resist or have immunities. The superior Interdict feature at 14th level significantly augments the Illrigger's seal mechanics by allowing the damage from seals to ignore any damage resistances the target has. It ensures that the Illrigger's core class features remain effective even against foes with substantial defenses. This is especially important at higher levels, where many enemies have resistances or immunity to common damage types. Given the limited options across most D&D classes to ignore resistances, this might be one of the best features in my opinion. Additionally, the ability to regain a seal as a bonus action when they have none left once per long rest provides a safety net that ensures the Illrigger is never completely without primary class resources. I think it brings this class up to D&D 2024 standards, making sure that your class never feels like you blew your load too early. That was a Smex joke. I thought we weren't making those in this video. Compared to other classes' abilities at this level, Superior Interdict enhances the Illrigger's reliability and ensures their unique mechanics remain impactful throughout their adventuring career. At 17th level, Infernal Majesty grants the Illrigger a transformative ability that encapsulates the might of their Archdevil patron. As a bonus action, they gain several benefits for 10 minutes. Resistance to fire, cold, and necrotic damage, a flight speed of 60 feet, enhanced blood price that damages nearby enemies when used, and an increase of Terrorizing Force damage from 1d8 to 2d8. Moreover, if the Illrigger dies during this time, they can choose to have their body disappear and reform in Hell after 1d6 days, effectively granting a form of resurrection, making them pretty much invincible and also, well, making for some cool RP moments if you don't mind splitting the party. This feature is remarkably powerful, providing both offensive and defensive enhancements. The thematic resonance of temporarily embodying infernal power adds to the class's flavor. When compared to other classes' capstone abilities, Infernal Majesty stands out for its combination of immediate combat benefits and the unique resurrection mechanic. However, it's limited to once per long rest, requiring the Illrigger to choose the timing of its use carefully. And finally, the Master of Hell feature, at 20th level, allows the Illrigger to summon a Hellstorm, unleashing one of 3 devastating area of effect attacks: Inferno, Pestilence, or Darkness. Each option covers a massive 50-foot radius sphere within 150 feet, and inflicts substantial damage along with additional debilitating effects like ongoing burning, poisoning, or blindness. This ultimate ability embodies the Illrigger's connection to infernal powers, allowing them to wreak havoc on a grand scale while the Warlock stands back, feeling left out. And honestly, it's about time. The significant damage output and status effects can turn the tide of large-scale battles or critical encounters. The once per long rest limitation is standard for abilities of this magnitude. Compared to other classes' 20th level feature, such as signature spells for the wizard, Master of Hell provides a singular, powerful effect that emphasizes the Illrigger's role as a formidable force on the battlefield. Its impact is situational, excelling in scenarios with multiple enemies or when area control is paramount. I promised we would get to subclasses, so if you made it this far into the video, it would mean a lot if you made sure to subscribe, do the thing with the bell icon so you get notified when I post new videos, and of course, leave a comment below. What's your favorite feature so far? First up, the Architect of Ruin subclass. This introduces a compelling blend of martial prowess, arcane magic, and psychological warfare. Serving as Modius, these Illriggers are masters of deception and manipulation, using their knowledge and spells to outmaneuver and terrify their enemies. This subclass stands out by offering versatility in both combat and non-combat situations, allowing players to adopt various playstyles ranging from spellcasting warriors to cunning infiltrators. At 3rd level, Asmodeus's Blessing is a feature that grants proficiency and additional knowledge-based skills such as Arcana, History, Nature, or Religion. This not only enhances the Illrigger's ability to gather information, but it also reinforces the theme of being well-versed in esoteric lore and secrets. Additionally, the ability to read and write the languages granted by their Forked Tongue feature expands this utility in social and investigation scenarios, making them more effective in espionage and diplomatic interactions. The spellcasting feature at 3rd level is a significant addition, transforming the Architect of Ruin into a 3rd caster class. With access to a tailored spell list that includes both offense and utility spells, players can customize their character to fit their desired role. The inclusion of cantrips and spells up to 4th level provides a balance between martial and magical capabilities. This feature empowers the Illrigger to enhance their combat effectiveness with spells like Shield, Mirror Image, and Haste, or to focus on subterfuge with spells like Disguise Self, Invisibility, and Suggestion. The spellcasting ability being based on Charisma synergizes well with the Illrigger's other class features, and it reinforces their reliance on Infernal Charisma. Also at 3rd level, Invoke Hell introduces 2 potent options: Unnerving Spell and Spellblade. Unnerving Spell allows the Illrigger to expend a seal to make a target vulnerable to the damage of a spell they cast. This is exceptionally powerful, as it can double the spell's damage output or negate an enemy's resistance or immunity, turning the tide against foes who would otherwise be difficult to harm. Spellblade enables the Illrigger to combine a melee weapon attack with casting a spell that has a casting time of 1 action. This effectively grants action economy efficiency, allowing for both physical and magical attacks in a single turn. This feature enhances the Gish Warrior Mage playstyle, making the Illrigger a formidable opponent in close combat. At 7th level, Hellish Versatility further refines the Illrigger's combat options by allowing them to replace one of their extra attack features with an Illrigger cantrip. This flexibility enables creative combinations such as attacking with a weapon and then casting a damaging cantrip like Firebolt or Hellfire. It enhances their damage potential and adaptability in combat, catering to situations where a magical attack might be more effective than a physical one. Also at 7th level, Asmodeus's Interdiction expands the Illrigger's Interdict boons with additional options exclusive to the subclass. The Axiomatic Seal boon adds the Illrigger's Charisma modifier to each seal's damage roll when burning seals, significantly increasing damage output, especially against heavily interdicted targets. This passive boon synergizes with the Illrigger's focus on charisma and amplifies their signature mechanic. At 13th level, Spellbreaker allows the Illrigger to counterspell an enemy's spellcasting by burning seals instead of expending spell slots. This provides a resource-efficient way to disrupt enemy spellcasters and adds a strategic layer to managing seals. At 18th level, Hellmage enables the Illrigger to place seals on an enemy when they or an ally succeed on a saving throw against a spell or magical effect imposed by that enemy. This reactive placement of seals enhances the ability to punish enemy spellcasters and reinforces their role as kind of an anti-magic specialist. The Submit feature at 11th level allows the Illrigger to burn 2 seals on an interdicted creature to impose disadvantage on their saving throw against an Illrigger spell. This dramatically increases the likelihood of powerful spells taking effect, especially those with debilitating effects like Hold Person or Phantasmal Killer. It emphasizes the Illrigger's ability to manipulate and control enemies, making them more formidable as they can bypass an enemy's defenses more effectively. At 15th level, Vile Transmogrification introduces resource conversions between seals and spell slots. The Illrigger can expend a spell slot to regain seals or expend seals to regain spell slots. This flexibility in resource management allows the Illrigger to adapt to the needs of the moment, ensuring that they have the necessary tools for either spellcasting or utilizing their seal mechanics. The limitation of using each benefit once per long rest balances this feature, preventing abuse while still providing a valuable option in critical situations. The Architect of Ruin's spell list is carefully curated to support both combat and utility roles. Spells like Hellish Rebuke, Burning Hands, and Scorching Ray provide solid offensive options, while spells like Disguise Self, Invisibility, and Suggestion offer avenues for deception and infiltration. Higher-level spells like Haste and Greater Invisibility further enhance their combat capabilities and the strategic options. The inclusion of unique spells like Hellfire and Motive Hells adds flavor and reinforces the infernal theme of the subclass. Overall, the Architect of Ruin subclass excels in offering versatile and adaptive playstyles. Its features synergize well with the base Illrigger class, enhancing both their martial and magical capabilities. This subclass allows players to tailor their character to their preferred approach, whether that be a frontline spellblade, a cunning manipulator, or a tactical support role. The balance between spellcasting and seal mechanics provides depth without overwhelming complexity, making it accessible while still offering a strategic choice. In terms of power level, the Architect of Ruin holds its own against other subclasses and classes. The ability to make enemies vulnerable to spell damage or to counterspell without expending spell slots is particularly potent. However, the subclass requires thoughtful management of resources like spells and seals. It can reward players who plan ahead and adapt to the flow of combat. The limitations placed on some of the features, such as the once per long rest restriction, help maintain balance and prevent the subclass from overshadowing others. Compared to other third caster classes like the Eldritch Knight or Arcane Trickster, the Architect of Ruin offers a unique blend of features that emphasize both offensive magic and the Illrigger's signature seals. The subclass's focus on charisma-based spellcasting differentiates it from others that rely on intelligence, potentially making it more synergistic within the Illrigger's existing ability and skill proficiencies. The Hellspeaker is next up on our list. The Hellspeaker is a subclass of the Illrigger that embodies the archetype of a silvery-tongued manipulator, serving the Archdevil Moloch. These Illriggers excel in deception, enchantment, and psychological warfare, using their infernal gifts to charm and control their foes. The subclass offers a unique playstyle that blends martial prowess with potent enchantment abilities. These makes the Hellspeaker a formidable presence both on and off the battlefield. Moloch's Blessing, gained at 3rd level, enhances the Hellspeaker's social manipulation skills by granting proficiency in either persuasion or deception, or expertise if already proficient. the Hellspeaker becomes exceptionally skilled in influencing others. This feature solidifies their role as a master negotiator and a deceiver. Additionally, the forked tongue feature is enhanced, providing an extra language and granting advantage on charisma checks when speaking languages gained through this feature. This not only broadens the Hellspeaker's communicative abilities, but also reinforces their manipulative prowess in interactions, making them invaluable in social and diplomatic scenarios. Look out, Bard, they're coming for you. Also at 3rd level, Charm Enemies allows the Hellspeaker to attempt to charm a humanoid when placing a seal on them. The charm lasts for 1 hour or until the Hellspeaker or their allies harm the target, with the target regarding the Hellspeaker as a friendly acquaintance. This feature can extend to multiple humanoids within 30 feet by burning seals on them, combining damage with the potential to charm. This ability is powerful, in that it can turn enemies into allies temporarily, providing strategic advantage such as gathering information, bypassing combat, or setting up ambushes. However, it's balanced by the limited number of uses equal to the Hellspeaker's charisma modifier, and the fact that the target becomes aware of the charm effect once it ends, which could have repercussions if not managed carefully. The Invoke Hell feature here introduces 2 options at 3rd level: Honey Sweet Blades and Turncoat. Honey Sweet Blades allows the Hellspeaker to gain advantage on a weapon attack against an interdicted creature, and if the attack hits, it becomes a critical hit. This can result in significant burst damage, particularly when combined with features that enhance critical hits or add extra damage dice. It provides a potent offensive option that can help the Hellspeaker eliminate key targets swiftly. Turncoat enables the Hellspeaker to force enemy creatures within 60 feet to make a charisma saving throw. On a failure, they use the reaction to attack a target of the Hellspeaker's choice. This ability can sow chaos among enemy ranks, turning their own forces against them and potentially disrupting coordinated attacks. It is especially effective against low charisma foes and can change the dynamics of a battle in the party's favor. At 7th level, Moloch's Interdiction grants additional Interdict boons unique to the Hellspeaker. Red Cant allows the Hellspeaker to expend a seal to treat a d20 roll of 9 or lower as a 10 on a charisma check. This effectively minimizes the chance of poor social skill checks, reinforcing their role as a consummate manipulator. At 13th level, Slippery Ploy enables the Hellspeaker to reactively place a seal on a creature, targeting them with an attack or spell, forcing the creature to make a charisma saving throw, and on a failed throw, the attacker must choose a new target or lose the attack. This defensive ability not only protects the Hellspeaker, but can redirect harmful effects towards enemy forces. At 18th level, Incontrovertible passively imposes disadvantage on wisdom and charisma saving throws for interdicted creatures, enhancing the effectiveness of the Hellspeaker's charm and enchantment abilities. This significantly increases the success rate of their spells and features that require these saves, making them more formidable as they advance in levels. The Intransient feature at level 11 provides immunity to the charmed condition for the Hellspeaker and chosen allies within 10 feet while the Hellspeaker is conscious. This bolsters the party's defenses against enemy enchantments and mind control, a valuable asset when facing opponents who employ similar tactics. It ensures that the Hellspeaker and nearby allies remain in control of their actions, maintaining the integrity of their strategies during critical encounters. Also at 11th level, Let's Make a Deal introduces a high-risk, high-reward mechanic. As a bonus action, the Hellspeaker offers a willing ally within 60 feet a deal. Once in the next 10 minutes, the ally can choose to gain advantage on an attack roll or saving throw and add the Hellspeaker's proficiency bonus to the roll. If successful, they also gain temporary hit points equal to the Hellspeaker's level. If they fail, they suffer disadvantage on their next attack roll or saving throws, which cannot be negated by any means. This feature exemplifies the theme of infernal bargains, providing powerful boons with potential drawbacks. It encourages strategic use, best employed when the ally has a chance at success or when the stakes justify the risk. The limited number of uses equal to the Hellspeaker's proficiency bonus ensures it remains significant but not an overpowered option. And then Quid Pro Quo at level 15 allows the Hellspeaker to attempt to banish a creature to the wastes of hell for up to 1 minute, during which the target can attempt to return by succeeding on a charisma saving throw at the end of their turn. Upon banishment, a devil, either a devil Jurst or a horned devil, appears in the target's place, acting as an ally to the Hellspeaker until the banishment ends. This feature provides both crowd control and summons an infernal ally, effectively turning the tide of battle by removing a threat and gaining additional support. It's balanced by the fact that the target can resist the effect with a saving throw and becomes immune to this feature for 24 hours upon a successful save. The limitation of using this feature once per long rest after successful banishment prevents it from being overused. Overall, the Hellspeaker subclass offers a unique and potent blend of enchantment magic and martial abilities. Its features emphasize control, manipulation, and strategic bargaining, allowing players to influence the battlefield in unconventional ways. The subclass shines in social interactions and combat scenarios, where charm and deception can be leveraged to great effect. The abilities scale well with level progression, providing increasingly powerful options that enhance both personal capabilities and support for the party. That was a mouthful. In terms of power, the Hellspeaker's abilities are significant, but balanced by limitations such as saving throws, limited uses, and potential risk versus reward. The subclass requires careful planning and tactical execution to maximize its potential, rewarding players who enjoy a more cerebral and manipulative experience. Next up on our list, and I hope you're still with me here, the Painkiller subclass. The Painkiller represents a quintessential frontline commander, embodying the might and authority of Darth, the archdevil of war. These Illriggers are heavily armored strategists who lead Hell's armies, instilling fear and awe into both their enemies and allies. The Painkiller's abilities focus on enhancing durability, commanding allies, and delivering devastating attacks, making them formidable leaders on the battlefield. At 3rd level, the Painkiller gains Darth's Blessing, granting proficiency with heavy armor. This significantly boosts their defensive capabilities, allowing them to withstand substantial damage while engaging enemies head-on. The ability to wear heavy armor aligns the Painkiller with other frontline classes like the Paladin and the Fighter, emphasizing their role as a resilient warrior who can hold the line against formidable foes. Also at 3rd level, the Devastator feature exemplifies the Painkiller's leadership and tactical acumen by making a weapon attack and inspiring nearby allies to use their reactions to attack or cast damaging cantrips. The Painkiller amplifies the party's offensive potential in a single coordinated strike. This ability is powerful because it effectively grants multiple extra attacks within the team, which can overwhelm enemies and shift the momentum of combat. The limitation of once per short or long rest ensures it remains a strategical tool rather than an overused tactic. The Invoke Hell options here, introduced at this level, further enhance the Painkiller's command over the battlefield. Grand Strategist allows the Painkiller to direct allies to move up to half their speed without provoking opportunity attacks. This movement can be critical for repositioning, flanking, and retreating from dangerous situations. It enables the party to adapt swiftly to changing combat dynamics, emphasizing the Painkiller's role as a master tactician. Punishment provides a reactive defensive mechanism. When the Painkiller takes damage from an attack, they can force the attacker to make a Wisdom saving throw, dealing necrotic damage equal to the damage received on a failed save. This ability acts as a deterrent, punishing enemies for targeting the Painkiller and potentially causing them to rethink their strategy. It's particularly effective against high-damage attackers, reflecting significant harm back onto them. At 7th level, Darth's Interdiction grants unique interdiction boons. Telekinetic Seal enhances battlefield control by allowing the Painkiller to place a seal on a creature that moves within 5 feet, and either push them back 15 feet or knock them prone on a failed Wisdom save. This disrupts enemy formations, preventing flanking, and can set up enemies for attacks with advantage. By the Throat, gained at level 13, enables the Painkiller to restrain a creature when placing or moving a seal on them. Restraining an enemy severely hampers their mobility and grants advantage to attacks against them. making it a potent tool for neutralizing key threats. Despater's Supremacy, a passive boon at level 18, expands critical hit range against interdicted creatures to rolls of 18, 19, or 20. This significantly increases the Painkiller's damage output potential, especially when combining abilities that capitalize on critical hits, like Death Strike. The You Die on My Command feature at level 11 exemplifies the Painkiller's authoritative presence. By using their reaction, they can prevent an ally within 30 feet from dropping to 0 hit points, leaving them at 1 hit point instead. This ability can be a lifesaver in critical moments, keeping vital party members active when they would otherwise be incapacitated. It reinforces the Painkiller's leadership, showing that their command can inspire allies to push beyond their limits. Death Strike allows the Painkiller to deliver devastating blows. When they hit an interdicted creature with a melee weapon attack, they can use their reaction to burn a seal, turning the hit into a critical hit, and doubling the seal's damage dice. With uses equal to their proficiency bonus per long rest, this ability can deal massive damage, particularly against formidable foes. It synergizes exceptionally well with Despater's Supremacy, increasing the chances of landing critical hits and maximizing damage during critical phases of combat. Overall, the Painkiller subclass brings a powerful combination of durability, leadership, and offensive might to the Illrigger class. Their abilities encourage a playstyle centered on commanding allies, controlling the battlefield, and punishing enemies who dare to challenge them. The subclass excels in situations where strategic positioning and coordination are key, making the Painkiller an invaluable asset in both small skirmishes and large-scale battles. In terms of power, Painkiller's features are robust but balanced. The abilities that grant extra attack or prevent allies from falling unconscious have their limitations on use, ensuring that they remain impactful without being overpowered. The reliance on saving throws for some abilities means that highly resistant enemies can mitigate their effects, adding a layer of tactical consideration for the player. Compared to other martial subclasses, the Painkiller stands out by combining the Illrigger's unique seal mechanics with classic frontline combat tactics. Their heavy armor proficiency and ability that affects both themselves and their allies creates a hybrid role of tank and support leader. They can absorb damage, control enemy movements, and enhance their team's effectiveness, all while dealing significant damage themselves. I've been talking so long, I'm worried I'm about to become a Sanguine Knight, which is our next subclass for the Illrigger. This archetype is a warrior who manipulates the life force of enemies to empower themselves and their allies, serving Sutka, probably pronouncing that wrong, Sutka, the Lord of Blood. These Illriggers harness blood magic to drain vitality from foes and use it to fuel infernal rituals and abilities. The subclass emphasizes a playstyle that combines martial prowess with life-stealing magic, offering both offensive and supportive capabilities. At 3rd level, the Sanguine Knight gains the ability to exsanguinate, allowing them to grant temporary hit points to an ally whenever they burn a seal on a non-construct, non-undead creature. The temporary hit points are equal to the damage dealt by the seals. This feature provides a consistent way to support allies during combat, enhancing their survivability while simultaneously harming enemies. It encourages targeting stronger foes to maximize the benefit, aligning with the subclass's theme of drawing strength from the enemy's vitality. Also at 3rd level, Sutka's Blessing grants proficiency in the Religion skill, reflecting the Illrigger's deep connection to infernal and profane knowledge. Additionally, the Sanguine Knight gains the ability to sense creatures with blood within a significant radius, even through barriers, a number of times per long rest equal to their proficiency bonus. This feature enhances their ability to detect hidden or invisible creatures, making them valuable in scenarios where locating enemies is critical. The Invoke Hell option provided at this level introduces 2 abilities, Embolden Allies and Vitalize. Embolden Allies allows the Sanguine Knight to distribute healing amongst themselves and allies within range, up to a total amount based on the Illrigger level. This offers a powerful healing option that can turn the tide of battle and recovery, especially when multiple allies are injured. Vitalize grants a bonus to ability checks for allies within range for a minute, enhancing their performance in both combat and non-combat situations. These abilities emphasize the subclass's supportive role, using stolen vitality to empower allies. At 7th level, Sutka's Interdiction provides additional interdict boons unique to the Sanguine Knight. Foul Interchange allows the Illrigger to transfer certain conditions like blinded, charmed, frightened, etc. from one creature to another by expending a seal. This feature can remove debilitating effects from an ally and impose them on an enemy, effectively turning the enemy's own afflictions against them. It requires a Constitution saving throw from the target, and it's particularly potent in controlling the battlefield. Sanguine Gift, gained at 13th level, lets the Illrigger enhance healing received by an ally within range by expending a seal, adding their Illrigger level to the healing amount. This boosts the effectiveness of healing spells or abilities used on an ally, further solidifying the Sanguine Knight's role as a supporter. Blood for Blood, a passive boon at 18th level, causes interdicted creatures to take necrotic damage whenever they damage an ally, equal to the Illrigger's proficiency bonus. This feature can punish enemies for attacking a Sanguine Knight's allies, adding a consistent source of damage and acting as a deterrent. At 11th level, the Bloodstroke feature enhances the protective capabilities provided by Ensanguinate. When an ally with temporary hit points from its Ensanguinate is hit by a melee attack, the attacker takes damage of a chosen type, cold, fire, or necrotic, equal to the Illrigger's level. This reflects the blood magic's retaliatory nature, punishing enemies for harming protected allies, and adding additional damage output. The Homil Exchange feature at 15th level allows the Sanguine Knight to influence attack rolls or saving throws of both enemies and allies. When an interdicted creature within range makes an attack roll or saving throw, the Illrigger can use their reaction to burn a seal, causing the target to subtract a d8 from their roll. Simultaneously, an ally within range gains a d8 to add to their next attack roll or saving throw. This transfer of power embodies the theme of draining strength from enemies to bolster allies. It is a potent feature that can swing critical moments in combat by hindering foes and aiding allies. Overall, the Sanguine Knight subclass offers a unique blend of offense and support, which is centered around manipulation of life force. The subclass is powerful, and then it provides consistent ways to heal and protect allies while dealing damage to enemies. The features synergize well, there's not much to say, encouraging a playstyle that focuses on targeting strong foes to maximize benefits. It encourages supporting teammates and controlling the flow of battlefield through condition manipulation and influencing dice rolls. In terms of power level, the Sanguine Knight is balanced by the requirement to manage seals effectively, and the situational nature of some of their abilities. The subclass shines in parties where teamwork and mutual support are valued, and where the Illrigger can take on both offensive and defensive roles as needed. Compared to other subclasses, the Sanguine Knight stands out by offering a playstyle that emphasizes both harming enemies and aiding allies through the same action. This duality makes it an engaging choice for players who enjoy being versatile on the battlefield, capable of shifting between roles and adapting to the needs of the moment. And next up, the Shadowmaster subclass. This emphasizes the archetype of a cunning assassin who operates from the shadows, serving Belial, the archdevil of darkness and deceit. These Illriggers excel in stealth, disguise, and surprise attacks, making them formidable opponents who can infiltrate enemy ranks and eliminate key targets with precision. At 3rd level, the Shadowmaster gains the Marked for Death feature, which grants advantage on their first attack against an interdicted creature on each of their turns. This ability significantly enhances their combat effectiveness by increasing the likelihood of landing critical initial strikes. It synergizes with other ability features that capitalize on having advantage, reinforcing their role as lethal initiators in combat. Also at 3rd level, they acquire Strike from the Dark, allowing them to deal extra damage when they hit an interdicted creature while having advantage on the attack roll. The additional damage scales with their proficiency bonus, involving rolling a number of d4s equal to that bonus. If the target is in dim light or darkness, they roll an extra die. This feature rewards tactical positioning and stealthy approaches, encouraging the Shadowmaster to utilize shadows to maximize their damage output. As they level up, The scaling ensures that this ability remains potent, making them increasingly deadly. Their Invoke Hell option at this level further enhances their stealth and control capabilities. Master of Disguise enables them to cast Disguise Self at will without expending a spell slot. This greatly enhances their infiltration abilities, allowing them to assume different appearances to gather information, bypassing guards or escape after assassination. No escape lets them use a bonus action to hinder a creature's movement within 30 feet. The target must make a Charisma saving throw, with disadvantage if in dim light or darkness. And on a failure, their speed is halved, and they cannot willingly move more than 30 feet away from the Shadow Master. This ability prevents enemies from escaping or repositioning, effectively trapping them for the Shadow Master to eliminate. At 7th level, Belial's Interdiction grants them unique Interdict boons. Veil of Lies allows them to become invisible for up to 10 minutes by expending a seal, ending if they attack or cast a spell. This extended invisibility is a powerful tool. It can help you set up ambushes, infiltrate secure locations, or evade detection. It enhances their stealth capabilities significantly. Hell's Assassin, gained at 13th level, is a passive feature that lets them reroll 1s or 2s on damage dices for their seals or weapon attacks against interdicted creatures. This increases their average damage output, ensuring that even their lowest rolls are more impactful. It reinforces their consistency as damage dealers. Dark Malediction, at 18th level, causes interdicted creatures to emit a 10-foot radius of darkness that can't be illuminated by non-magical light. Doesn't hinder creatures with dark vision like the Shadow Master, but it can severely impair enemies who rely on sight. It not only hampers opponents, but it creates an environment where the Shadow Master's abilities that rely on dim light or darkness are always active, maximizing their combat potential. The Umbral Killer feature at level 11 enhances their mobility and survivability. They gain dark vision out to 60 feet, or if they already have it, the range increases by 60 feet. Their movement speed increases by 10 feet, allowing for swift repositioning. They also gain advantage on dexterity stealth checks to hide, making it easier to remain undetected. Additionally, they acquire an evasion-like ability. When making a dexterity saving throw to take half damage, they instead take no damage on a success and only half damage on a failure. This significantly improves their resilience against area of effect attacks, a common vulnerability for stealth-based characters. Now at level 15, they gain access to Doomed to the Shadows, which upgrades their Strike from the Dark feature. Their extra damage dice increase from D4s to D8s, substantially boosting their burst damage potential. Their additional damage when the target is in dim light or darkness also increases, reinforcing the importance of shadowy environments for their combat strategy. Moreover, when they deal damage with Strike from the Dark, they can use the reaction to burn a seal on a target to inflict the blinded condition for 1 minute instead of dealing the seal's damage. Blinding an enemy is a powerful debuff. It potentially renders them helpless and giving the Shadow Master and their allies a significant advantage. As a whole, I do have to say that this might be the weakest subclass, but it does excel in single target elimination and stealth operations. Their abilities are designed to maximize damage against prioritized targets, control enemy movement, and manipulate the battlefield environment to their advantage. The emphasis on darkness and stealth not only fits the thematic element of serving the Archdevil of Shadows, but also provides tangible mechanical benefits that enhance their effectiveness. In terms of power, the features offer substantial enhancements to both offense and defense. The combination of increasing damage output, control effects, and improved survivability makes them formidable in combat. The reliance on gaining advantage and operating in dim light or darkness encourages strategic thinking and environmental manipulation, rewarding players who plan their engagements carefully. Compared to other stealth-focused classes or subclasses such as the Rogue's Assassin archetype, the Shadow Master offers a unique blend of infernal magic and martial prowess. While they may not have access to the same breadth of skills and utility features as a Rogue, their seal, mechanics, and interdict boons provide powerful alternatives that can disrupt and dominate in combat. The ability to blind opponents, create darkness, and become invisible grants them control over the battlefield that few others can match. One potential drawback is that many of their abilities are just very situational, relying on specific conditions like dim light or darkness to be most effective. This requires a player to be mindful of the environment and possibly take steps to create favorable conditions, such as extinguishing light sources or choosing battlefields that naturally provide shadows. That was a lot. Thank you for sticking with me through the subclasses. There are 3 other sections you gain access to when you purchase the Illrigger Revised. The first of these is the Retainer NPCs. That video is going to be over on the Patreon for patron subscribers in about a week. Again, a big thank you to my patrons who made this video possible. But there are new spells and a few magic items relevant to the Illrigger class. The new spells introduced for the Illrigger class, particularly for the Architect of Ruin subclass, expand infernal and manipulative characteristics of the character. These spells not only enhance the thematic flavor of the class, but also provide unique tactical options that can impact both combat and role-playing scenarios. Aura of Desecration is a 4th level abjuration, and it creates a 30-foot radius aura centered on the caster, radiating life-defiling energy for up to 10 minutes with concentration. Any creature of the caster's choice entering or starting their turn in the area must make a Constitution saving throw, taking 4d6 necrotic damage on a failed save and being unable to regain hit points until the start of their turn. On a successful save, the creature takes half damage with no additional effect. The large radius affects multiple enemies, making it a powerful tool for controlling the battlefield. It's also good for healing suppression, preventing enemies from regaining hit points, which can severely hinder opponents relying on healing abilities or regeneration. The long duration allows the caster to maintain pressure throughout. This spell enhances the Illrigger's ability to dominate the battlefield by combining damage output with healing denial. It forces enemies to either avoid the area or suffer continuous harm, and reduces recovery options. Compared to spells like Spirit Guardians, Aura of Desecration offers higher damage and an added benefit of healing suppression, making it a formidable choice for mid to high level parties. Hell's Lash is a 1st level evocation. Hell's Lash targets a creature within 30 feet, forcing a Constitution saving throw. On a failure, the creature takes 4d4 fire damage, and it becomes tethered, taking 2d4 fire damage at the start of each of their turns. The creature can repeat the saving throw at the end of each turn to end the effect. Additionally, if the target is interdicted, the caster can burn a seal to impose disadvantage on the creature's saving throw to end the spell. Initial and reoccurring damage can accumulate significantly, especially if the target fails multiple saves. In regards to a control aspect, the tether effect keeps pressure on the target, forcing them to address the ongoing damage. It does synergize really well with seals, integrating well with the Illrigger class mechanics, enhancing the spell's effectiveness against interdicted foes. It combines direct damage with a lingering effect, fitting the Illrigger's theme of tormenting foes. The spell's interdiction with seals encourages strategic use of class resources, enhancing the depth of gameplay. Hellfire Evocation is a cantrip. It unleashes an eruption around a creature within 120 feet, requiring a charisma saving throw. On a failed save, the target takes 1d4 fire damage and 1d4 necrotic damage, scaling with the caster level. Dealing both fire and necrotic damage increases the chance of bypassing resistances. It's an uncommon saving throw. Targeting charisma saves exploits a common weakness among many creatures. It also has a long range of 120 feet, which allows for a safe engagement at a distance. This cantrip adds versatility to the Illrigger's repertoire, offering a reliable ranged attack that remains effective as a character levels up. The combination of damage types and the use of a less commonly resisted saving throw makes it a valuable tool in various combat situations. Infernal Challenge is a 2nd level enchantment. As a bonus action, Infernal Challenge compels a creature within 30 feet to engage the caster. If the caster has no allies within 5 feet, the target must make a charisma saving throw or suffer effects, including the caster gaining 2 to its AC, which is super huge. The target having disadvantage on attacks against others and potential immobilization when moving away. This draws enemy focus to the caster, protecting allies. It is a defensive boost which increases the AC and enhances the caster's survivability during the challenge. It does have movement restrictions, which can hinder the target's ability to disengage or reposition. The spell solidifies the Illrigger's role as a frontline combatant who can control enemy aggression. It introduces a tactical layer, forcing opponents to confront the caster directly while providing benefits that help withstand incoming attacks. Maligned Weapon is a pretty cool 4th level evocation. Maligned Weapon imbues a weapon with infernal energy for up to 1 hour, adding 2d6 necrotic damage to the attacks, and extinguishing mundane light within a 30-foot radius. The caster can end the spell early to unleash a burst, causing damage and a frightened condition to nearby enemies. The significant damage boost on weapons attacks increases overall damage output. It has environmental control. By extinguishing light, it can disrupt enemies reliant on sight and create advantageous position conditions. The ability to cause an area burst adds flexibility in dealing with multiple foes. The spell enhances both the Illrigger's melee prowess and tactical options. It aligns with the infernal theme by introducing darkness and fear, and the choice to end the spell for a potent area effect adds strategic depth to its use. Mote of Hell is a 3rd level conjuration. Mote of Hell summons a 15-foot radius sphere of darkness filled with brimstone and heat, lasting up to 1 minute. Creatures starting their turn inside take fire damage, and those ending their turn must save or take psychic damage. The area is difficult terrain and blinds creatures within it. This creates a hazardous zone that hinders enemy movement, and it helps control their positioning. It inflicts both fire and psychic damage, which is challenging to resist simultaneously. The blinding effect is a sensory deprivation, which can neutralize enemies' capabilities. The spell offers significant battlefield control, allowing the Illrigger to manipulate enemy movement and inflict ongoing damage. It serves both offensive and defense purposes, fitting well with strategies that involve area control and crowd management. Vengeful Blade is an evocation cantrip. Vengeful Blade involves making a melee weapon attack that, on a hit, causes a target to emit a dark aura. If the target attacks or casts a spell before the caster's next turn, they take necrotic damage. This spell reminds me of Booming Blade. The spell's damage increases at higher level. It encourages enemies to avoid attacking or casting spells, impacting their tactical decisions. It provides additional damage on both the initial attack and as a punitive measure. It benefits Illriggers who engage directly in combat. It adds a psychological aspect to combat and potentially deters enemies from taking certain actions. It enriches the Illrigger's close-quarter combat options and synergizes with their role of Enforcers of Will. And the Wall of Death, a 4th level necromancy spell. The Wall of Death creates an opaque wall of necrotic energy that deals damage to creatures in its aura upon casting and continues to harm those near it on one side. The caster can gain temporary hit points equal to the damage dealt whenever a creature takes damage from the wall. This is a battlefield-shaping tool. It blocks movement and line of sight, forcing enemies to navigate around it. It is sustained damage as it continues to do damage to enemies, pressuring them throughout its duration. And it's self-sustaining. It grants the caster temporary hit points, enhancing their durability. It combines offensive and defensive elements, allowing the Illrigger to control space while bolstering its own resistances. It complements strategies that focus on area denial and attrition warfare. In terms of how the Illrigger fits within a party, they can serve as damage dealers, support characters, or controllers, depending on the subclass and the build. They synergize well with other frontline fighters, and can benefit from spellcasters who provide support spells like darkness or invisibility. Role-playing dynamics include navigating moral complexity, leveraging influence and manipulation, and integrating their infernal connections into the campaign narrative. Potential challenges include alignment conflicts, secretly affecting party trust and thematic fit within the campaign. If you like the vibes of this evil-feeling class, you should totally go watch my video that kind of flopped on playing an evil character. I'll link it up here. Critically evaluating the class balance, the Illrigger offers unique mechanics and high damage burst potential, but may present challenges in complexity and potentially overpowering other classes. Resource dependence on a short rest can also be a disadvantage, but anybody used to Warlocks knows that it's not that big of a deal, especially with 2024 D&D encouraging more of them. My recommendation for balance includes Dungeon Master oversight, ensuring party composition complements the Illrigger role without overshadowing others, and maintaining open communication within the group. I genuinely like the Illrigger. It might be my new favorite. It's a gameplay loop that feels though it's a cross between a Paladin and a Warlock, but unique enough to give it a feel that is uniquely, well, Illrigger. It plays differently than other classes, and its powerful abilities are all kind of reined in. My advice to anybody looking to play one? I think to get the most out of the Illrigger, you're going to want to go straight class on this one. Don't take it as a multi-class, or you're going to add more complexity with very little gain. And I didn't forget about the 2 magic items. Before we close out the video, the introduction of these items, True Name and Bloodsbane, adds significant depth and flavor to the Illrigger class. True Name is a weapon that is versatile in an Illrigger's hands. It comes in multiple rarities, uncommon, rare, very rare, and legendary, requiring attunement by an Illrigger. Upon attunement, the wielder whispers their true name to the weapon, which is then inscribed in infernal runes before fading. The core mechanic for the uncommon version allows the Illrigger, whenever they roll an 18, 19, or 20 on an attack roll with this weapon and place a seal on a creature as a part of the attack, to place an additional seal on that creature. Higher rarities enhance the weapon further. Rare grants a +1 bonus to attack and damage, increases seal damage by 1d6. Very rare grants a +2 bonus to attack and damage rolls and increases seal damage by 2d6, and allows the Illrigger to regain a seal when they reduce an enemy to 0 hit points once per dusk. Legendary grants a +3 bonus to attack and damage rolls, increases seal damage by 3d6, and permits the Illrigger to regain 2 seals and gain temporary hit points equal to their Illrigger level when reducing an enemy to 0 hit points once per dusk. The True Name weapon significantly amplifies the Illrigger's primary class mechanic, centered around seals and Baleful Interdict. By enabling the placement of additional seals on a high attack roll, it increases the frequency and potency of the Illrigger's abilities that require or consume seals. The progressive bonus to attack and damage rolls enhancing Illrigger's combat effectiveness, ensuring they remain competitive in melee confrontations. Seals are a finite resource, so the ability to gain them back using this weapon is critical. And of course, the temporary hit points gained at the legendary rarity further enhance survivability. Beyond mechanical benefits, True Name offers rich narrative opportunities. The act of inscribing the wielder's true name ties deeply into infernal lore, where knowing a devil's true name can grant power over them. This creates potential plot hooks involving other fiends seeking the weapon to learn the Illrigger's true name, or the Illrigger embarking on a quest to discover the weapon's original name, which holds sway over numerous fiends. And then we have Bloodsbane. Bloodsbane is a very rare potion that functions as a weapon coating, requiring a special component to unlock its effects. The oil can be mixed with specific ingredients: Menthra arvenicus oil, nightshade oil, bloodhound fur, or rose oil, to produce different effects upon application. Applying the oil involves a willing creature offering a drop of their blood, activating its magic. The weapon or ammunition coated with Bloodsbane affects a creature hit by it in the following ways. If coated with Menthra avernus oil, the target is affected by Zone of Truth for 10 minutes. Coated with Nightshade oil, the target is paralyzed for 1 minute. Bloodhound fur, the donor of the blood knows the direction and distance to the target for 24 hours. And rose oil, the target is affected by Charmed Person for 1 hour, charmed by the blood donor. If the target fails a DC 15 constitutional saving throw and the blood came from the Illrigger, a seal is placed on them by that Illrigger, not counting against their use limit of seals for the Baleful Interdict. Bloodsbane serves as a versatile tool with both combat and utility applications, depending on the ingredient used. The Nightshade oil effects introduce paralysis, a powerful condition that can incapacitate a target for up to a minute, allowing for critical strikes or capture. This especially can be game-changing and might be my favorite one. Whether you're a player eager to embrace a darker path or a dungeon master seeking a formidable and nuanced antagonist, the Illrigger offers a wealth of possibilities. Just remember to read the fine print on that diabolical contract. Archdevils are notorious for their attention to detail. Until next time, may your seals burn brightly, your blades strike true, and your pacts remain, well, let's just say manageable. Keep rolling those dice, my friends, and may your quests be epic.